Hi everyone, this is AG and IJ.
Yeah, if you hear talking or dogs barking in the background, just know that this just started up right as we began recording. So, just excuse it. If you are hearing Spanish in the background, just know I cannot understand it, he can't, and we're just gonna have to go with it.
Yeah.
We'll try and complete this as timely a manner as possible to avoid loud Spanish laughter from the background.
Yeah. These episodes were surprisingly good.
They're interesting to me.
I liked them a lot more, and I probably say that, listening back to the podcast from last week, I was really hard on the episodes for no reason. I really thought about it, and I'm like, I should have given them gold.
If you want to rescind
None
it
of them
give
deserve
them gold,
platinum, but they definitely,
because I agree that objectively they're good episodes. However, these batch of episodes subjectively is a different story. These episodes
Flash
are
really
super
likes
good in
Zorro, and so he's like, I want to give the Zorro episode platinum. And I'm like,
if he wants to, he can.
Yeah, he actually said that, during the episode, it actually pushed him to wanting to put his own score on the episodes as well.
He should. Flash, you should. You're doing just as much work, if not more, than I am, okay? And you're especially doing more work than I am, so you can absolutely put your score on there.
So, this episode and the next one are basically just wrapping up the battles happening on the island.
It's wrapping up the Whiskey Peak episode.
Yeah. But it's more than just that. It's, I mentioned last week that we're most likely going to get more of an explanation of who Vivi is as a person. And we do get some of that, but I don't know. Vivi at the same time is both kind of necessary for the plot to go along.
Oh, yeah.
But also a little bit of, I don't know, there's something that she adds to the crew that I don't think ever gets replicated later.
No, not really. Not until perhaps one of the characters now, but not to the extent. There's just something about Vivi that just fits, dysfunctionally so, with the characters on the crew of the Straw Hat, and the characters will get on the Straw Hat crew, as we'll see. And anybody who knows what happens in the future knows that Vivi is a very special addition, as we'll get to see that you slide her in, and she just fits in a way that Sanji fit, in a way that Nami fit, in a way that Zoro fit, and in the way that Luffy is king of this crew.
So Ingram, his attack fails, and he basically ends up as a bloody puddle on the ground. And
Zoro's too intense for these guys.
No, I'm talking about Ingram, trying to fire at, number 5.
Oh, yeah. That was never gonna go well. When you're 8 and he's 5 and it's going in ascending order, it's not gonna go well.
So Ingram is basically sitting there on the ground as Vivi is running away on Karu, trying to find a good place to be, as Ingram is basically asking Zoro, I want you to protect the princess, make sure that she is safe.
And he's trying to buy them off.
Please, I will do anything. And of course that summons Nami going, anything you say.
Money! It's her, you can see the dollar bill, you can see the belly signs in her eyes. She's like, anything.
But there is, so around this time, Luffy kind of wakes up and starts wandering around
and sees all the guys laying on the ground, some of them flayed open by Kitetsu.
Yeah.
Because Kitetsu went a little overboard. I'm sure that some of those guys in that pile that Luffy came across were actually dead.
So after Mr. 9 and Miss Monday tried to help out, but are thoroughly dispatched by 5 and Miss Valentine, you kind of get an explanation of what their powers are. Mr. 5 has the bomb fruit, in which he can basically, any part of him can become explosive.
So he just uses his mucus to do it.
Yeah, he basically
It's easier to extend.
grabs some of his snot and basically just flicks it at people because that's effective. It's not like he can, bottle his saliva and use that or something.
Nitroglycerin.
As nitroglycerin.
I'm pretty sure that every part of his body is explosive in a different way. Like his spit and his sweat would be nitroglycerin. His mucus or like any other part of him.
Maybe his dandruff too. Who knows?
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me with all that hair he's got.
And Miss Valentine shows off her power in which
the kilo freak.
Yeah, she manipulates her weight by increments of 10.
Yeah.
So she could become as light as 1 kilogram.
And make herself float.
Which is why she has the umbrella, because if she could just get picked up by a stiff wind and just fly off, and since she's so light because of this, that she doesn't actually reduce drag on the umbrella. So it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Zoro decides to badass his way into the scene again by jumping down and cutting the piece of snot in midair.
And you're like, ah, I cut snot. And they're like, and because Vivi was just about to bite the dust. Yeah. Like, that would have killed her. Like, she's pretty strong, but having an explosive go off right next to your face is not something that you want to have happen to you.
Yeah. So Zoro is about to fight when Luffy shows up. He had been told by one of the people that were still alive.
Because he asked who had done this to them. And if Luffy hates one thing, it's being inhospitable to someone who has fed him food.
And so clearly Zoro needs to die now.
Like that turned dark super quickly.
Luffy, still as this giant ball of food, is punching solid rock into splinters and trying to hurt Zoro. And
as Mr. Five and Miss Valentine are trying to get to Vivi, but they're being caught in the crossfire of the two of them. So Vivi is
I wouldn't really say caught in the crossfires. I would say it. Zoro picks up Luffy and bowls a strike.
He does. It's pretty funny.
Although it's
how they're just not taking Five and Valentine seriously at all.
Although it is actually kind of funny that Luffy then emerges from the building, all of the fat basically used up to heal his wounds.
Yeah, because that's the thing about Luffy. The reason why he eats his physical weight in food at every day is because he uses it to stay alive. Because of how much he's prone to get into a fight.
And there's actually a really great moment where Zoro and Luffy are yelling at each other as Miss Valentine is up in the air describing her abilities. And she yells out, "Stop ignoring me!" As she exceeds 10,000 kilograms.
Luffy and Zoro are having a spat because Luffy tells Zoro why he's actually picking a fight with them. As Miss Valentine is trying to drop
as he goes,
on top of them.
Ole! And she just falls right into the ground. And it's man, these people are useless.
It's just a bad matchup. I think Ingram and Miss Monday would have given Luffy a run for his money because of their kind of attacks.
What I honestly feel is interesting is I think the reason why they're 5 and not any higher is because they're devil fruit users. They're not good at using their devil fruits, but because they have it, they have an advantage. And there is a distinct feeling, I believe it's mentioned by someone at some point, that having a devil fruit and using it are two different things.
Yeah, it's actually by a villain 15 years from now.
Are you sure about that? Because
or it's Mr. Zero.
I'm pretty sure it's actually brought up in this episode. Because I remember watching that. Mm-hmm. And so Zoro and Luffy are basically
having a
pushing match with each other when Five and Valentine come running at them as they both in synchrony going, "Quit being so damn annoying," as they just basically punch them into oblivion.
Because they're interrupting a fight of men here, and that just won't fly.
Meanwhile, back with
I like my notes that 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 Vivi should just sit tight for the Titans of Wind and Steel are having a row, and she should just sit calm and just let the fight play out, and it'll be fine afterwards.
Episode 67 starts with showing Vivi and Karu are just like, maybe we picked a wrong fight.
Yeah.
Like, they realize, oh no, we would have had to have taken on these guys.
Two. Yeah, especially Luffy. Like, they caught Luffy in an extremely good mood with food. So
Nami then shows up and knocks out both of them.
And they're like, and she like has each of them by like the scruff of the neck, and they're like punching and like trying to trying to like slap each other and like force each other away as if they're 3-year-olds. And I was like, you guys stop! And she like shakes them.
So when they get to a safe location, Vivi basically says that she learned a very valuable secret to help Alabasta
get back on
its track, because if anyone knew who Mr. Zero, the leader of Brokeworks, is,
who was introduced in the last, who was name dropped in the last episode,
it could become a problem. Why? Vivi doesn't really want to say, but she accidentally blurts it out, but that he is Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords,
or the Shishibukai, a warlord of the sea, and Luffy, you could start to see stars in his eyes. See?
But if you really think about it,
tell me more.
Think about this. Baroque Works is a large organization that primarily works in the Grand Line, and all of their assets are usually about secrecy and
they're
espionage.
like information brokers, or what they actually are.
So it could be really important for
comes into play
the military
later.
to find out who is actually in control of this, so they could put a rest to it. For the government to find out that one of their selected warlords, who is basically given a free pass to do whatever they want,
they're basically hired
is
private
secretly the leader of that group, that could cause a lot of problems. Which, noticeably, is why Vivi is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they didn't seem to plan for this contingency if one of the warlords got out of their control.
But as she basically blurts out that it's Crocodile, they all kind of look up, and there's the Unluckies basically sitting on the roof, looking down at
staring at them, and they fly off, and Nami freaks out and
because tries to now we're gonna die because
it's okay. They don't know our faces yet, and she rounds the corner, and there's Mr. 13, drawing their faces perfectly. By the way,
and she goes,
almost as if he was
a pretty good artist. Why no?
Yeah. And Vivi does try to offer them 50,000 because Alabasta's economy is in the toilet and they're having a civil war.
And that's basically all she has, in
to
storage.
Her name, which, if we remember, that's as much for one of the normal swords at Road Town.
No, he was given 100,000. He was given 100,000, and he gave back the 100,000.
Yeah, but that wasn't enough for even one of the...
Yeah, not
that,
even
that was enough
up.
for 2 bargain bin swords. He walked out with 2 really good swords at the end of that, but that was basically 2 bargain bin swords for a...
Well, then again, his white sword sells no less than 1 million berry. Sorry. Is it 1 million or 1 billion?
It was 1 billion, because it was one of the Owazamo
only 12 in existence, yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
They went to great lengths to explain this, and it's actually information that will become very important 20 years from now.
So, Ingram shows up in one of Vivi's
Dressed in
outfits.
drag!
Yeah.
Man close to my heart.
and and he's like, okay, I got these dummies. I've got this.
That all look like the 3 straw hats that were with them, by the way.
Yeah.
Not the other 2 in the house.
And I'm gonna sail off because clearly it's like we're gonna sneak off into the middle of the night and we're gonna try to get out of here. Okay, Ingram, be safe. Oh, just to establish this, here is an eternal log post for Alabasta. I'm gonna go travel with this.
Because I need the shortest route to Alabasta to make it look like I'm you.
Yeah. He goes
and what happens?
20 feet out and then blows up.
No, it's probably like 50 feet out. At most 1,000. Like at most 1,000, at least 50 feet. Because that explosion was pretty big. Because he gets nuked from orbit.
I wonder how that even happened.
You know how it actually probably happened? I'll explain afterwards, but and we figure out who did it, which you're able to piece together.
Yeah.
Someone probably spontaneous with their hand summoned a bomb on top of the ship.
Yeah, so
bomb on ship.
Either way, she kind of sails up, and here's where we get to something really funny. She's wearing a cowboy hat, and at first you're like, well, having a cowboy hat, having a type of clothing doesn't denote where you live. But, and normally, like, if the Japanese would like to give someone a southern accent, essentially, they would use someone with a Kansai sort of accent, because it's generally the same sort of thing where they're like, I'm going to use a lot of slang to circumvent the words that I don't really know.
Or the words that I don't need.
Yeah.
Because they want to talk short and quick.
So in Japanese culture, someone from Kansai is sort of like a hillbilly in America, where it's sort of like, I don't know good words.
Or like someone from like the Deep South.
That's what I mean.
Or someone who speaks Karoli.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite not English, but it is at the same time. It's practically its own dialect.
English had a French base to it instead of a German.
Isn't that English anyways?
Either way.
Half of our syllables are French.
The entire time that she is in this, she refers to herself as, she is referred to as Miss All Sunday.
Which we actually had a discussion about.
We will talk about that when she actually gets brought up again. But because she has that cowboy hat, 4 kids deemed it that she now has a southern accent, even though she does not.
She was supposed to be like a Southern Belle or something like that?
No, she doesn't. She just wears a cowboy hat.
No, but like in the 4 Kids dub, was she like a Southern Belle? Was that the way that they went with it? Or like Rogue from the X-Men?
Southern Belle. So they're like,
because
Ingram's basically dead.
And then she's copping up that she was the one who offed him. And Luffy gets
We're not there yet.
Oh.
We still have to do something important.
What? Wake up Sanji and Usopp by the nose and the leg?
Yeah.
The most identifiable traits.
Yeah, he gets to the boat, and they're just knocked out, and it's like, oh.
They're pissed because they got woken up at 11
asleep.
at night.
No, the sun is coming up, so it's around 6.
Okay.
But there's also something very important. We had a commercial break, and Vivi now has a portrait. Showing that she is now officially part of the team. And it's like, oh no, Karu is missing, where is he? Oh yeah, he's been hiding on the ship the whole time. Oh.
Like a smart bird.
Yeah, smart bird. So they start sailing off as fast as possible.
And they say it's 2 to 3 islands to Alabasta going the island hopping method. We'll see if that pans out,
but they have to take a super indirect route. Because,
coming
again...
around probably the back of the island.
So I'm going to bring that up later, though. So Miss All Sunday shows up. In certain translations, her name is Bloody Sunday. Which could basically denote the Sunday of Easter.
Which is a holiday. And I'll give that to her.
Which is really awkward because in the four kids that they changed Golden Week's name, Miss Golden Week's name to Easter because it's closer and makes more sense.
Some of the
No
things
one,
that
no one in America would know what Golden Week is. Do you know what Golden Week is?
I do, because I played Persona games. That's the only reason I know what Golden Week is.
Yeah, but
It's
when
'cause of
is it?
Persona. I don't know.
It's the last week of April.
Oh yeah, because it's supposed to be like celebrating the
It's the
beginning
week.
of school.
No, it's the week after. It's the week after Emperor Showa's birthday, which was the 29th of April. So it's the
It's
last.
also the same month that schools begin and the physical year begins in Japan.
Yeah, because that happens on April 1st.
Mm-hmm. Their Fool's Day is on a different day entirely. It's like some day in November, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's that way in Central and South America too.
Something really interesting happens. Everyone gets ready because Miss Sunday shows up, and everyone just draws their weapons, including Sanji, who pulls a gun out of nowhere.
Not the first time he'll do so either.
And I'm just sitting there like, when did Sanji get a gun? He has never been shown with a gun until this moment.
Is he shown with a gun
But
afterwards?
this is the same pistol he uses several other times. He literally, it comes out of nowhere.
It comes out
and
of
I don't want to
hyperspace.
say
It's the same place that hammers come from.
I don't want to say it's plot convenience, but he really does show up with this exact gun every once in a while.
Yeah. It's probably in his inside pocket and he's been wearing it the whole time. Just why would he mention it to other people?
So she starts knocking things out of people's hands, and she floats, Luffy's prized hat onto her head, going, "I'm gonna just keep this? Okay."
And she also takes the, and she also shows up with the Alabasta.
No, it's not the Alabasta one, because that one sinks under the ocean. They basically go, "Oh, she's a devil fruit user. What is it?" And then she kind of smiles and going, "Here, take this. It's an eternal log post to this sort of resort island that, using it, you only have to jump to that island and then get to Alabasta really easily.
Because it's like a nearby island.
It's the island right before.
Which probably houses characters we see later on in this batch of episodes.
And she says, "I'm giving this to you because if you don't
your next
go with
island
this,
is a little garden."
And she puts a really clear denotion that you don't want to go to Little Garden. And Luffy basically gets this eternal log pose, which we brought up before, but basically what it does is it remembers the magnetic signal of that island, and it will...
Forever, regardless of which island you have gone to.
Mm-hmm.
You could take this...
It's basically the reverse of a log pose, where instead of
back up Reverse Mountain, down it into one of the different seas that's ever been, go to the pole of the planet, come back, and it would still show you the direct route to the island.
Yeah.
Pretty
but
much.
They do have magnetic north. I think it actually takes...
They do. Yeah.
The magnetic north must be somewhere in North Sea. I mean, why else would they...
Because how else would Nami's compass work in the East Blue if they didn't have a magnetic north and a magnetic south?
So Luffy basically looks at this eternal log post and he just crushes it in his hand, and everyone starts freaking out. But then he goes, "Well, she's not the one that decided the ship's course, so we're not trusting her." Which basically brings up a point. She did lead Vivi to what Crocodile's real name is. But, on the other hand, she did that so she could gain a location of where she is. But then on the other hand, she could be doing that. She could be doing it because she wants Crocodile to get caught for some reason. But on the other hand, it could be like a quadruple bluff to make sure that they actively die somewhere. So it's unsure whether or not she should be trusted.
She could be steering all of them right into
but she can't trust them right now.
Yeah, like, Luffy is right. In an indirect way, they have no reason to trust her or take her help.
So
Because
she
she's the right hand of Mr. Zero himself. Why should they accept help from her? Luffy has done the right move here. In like a backwards way, he's done the right move here.
So then she basically goes, fine, I'm leaving. Here's your hat. I'm going to jump on my turtle, which also has a hat, and I'm going to just sail off.
The same hat as her, actually.
Yeah.
They have matching hats. And, like, everyone's like, oh, cool, a turtle! I'm like, these guys are
but
doomed!
Here's an important thing. She leaves without actually showing what her true powers are. I think Oda hadn't actually thought of it yet.
No, I think he knew.
I mean...
I think he knew. He
I could see how she could get Luffy's hat, but it seemed more like telekinesis when she was pulling it towards her, or when the weapons are getting knocked out of people's hands.
Maybe her devil fruit was the last thing he found out about her. It's the 4th of July, okay?
Yeah, and
when
people are launching it off
just note that
6 p.m.
They began at 11 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like,
I had to go to a party. Because it's not afternoon. So
semantics. It's in the middle of the day.
So after Vivi basically comes out with a new shirt on, which makes me wonder if she's borrowing Nami's shirts or if she packed her own. Which basically begs another question of, when did she get time to pack?
She didn't get time to pack. Those are Nami's shirts.
Maybe.
We saw Nami shopping in Log and Low.
I guess you're right.
Also, Miss All Sunday, we're gonna come back to this character, so shelve her, keep her in your mind.
Because she's not gonna be important until we reach, Alabasta itself.
Yeah, in which we will talk more about her when a certain scene comes up, and we're gonna explain that this character is not who she seems. Like, and you could take that in many different ways.
Okay, so next episode.
Yes, thank you.
Is the start of a 2-part, which for some reason I thought was only 1-part filler arc.
2 parts
involving Coby. First thing we get to see is
Coby's fever.
We see Vivi basically sitting out on the deck of the ship, watching Luffy and Usopp trying to use Karu as bait to fish for food, and she's just like, time is running out, we really need to go somewhere. Okay, let's go to Coby then for filler arc. He's currently dreaming that he is the captain of his own ship, and and he has a kaiju-sized Luffy comes to help him to fight against
a kaiju-sized Morgan.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, this is a dream. Luffy uses Gum Gum Tornado. I can't remember if this was used before, but whatever. It's a dream, so technically he didn't actually use it. Coby doesn't know what he uses. So Coby basically wakes up, and he and Helmeppo are basically we refer to them as chore boys, but
they're the lowest rung on the morning.
There is a better name for it, but it's what it correctly translates to.
Coby is very much the eternal optimist. I put in my notes several times that where's the line? That Coby has been to the church of Luffy, drank the punch, and proclaimed his dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's eventually gonna lose that smile though, because optimists don't stay optimists forever.
He gets not literally burned off of him, but figuratively burned off him anyways.
Helmeppo though is still pretty entitled about his position, and he doesn't want to improve himself because
at all. Like, he wants to go back to being waited on hand and foot by the other Marines without having to work for anything.
They then get to a fight on top of the roof that they are cleaning, and the dumbest scene of these 5 episodes happen, in which they fall off of the roof, and Luffy, who is a better name for it, but it's what it correctly translates to.
They fall off of the roof. 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 They fall o
onto a cannon, which was for some reason both loaded with a cannonball and powder.
They should not be held as nearly responsible as the
And it destroys the
loaded
building
the
that is across the courtyard from it. It then cuts to them at the girl that made Zoro food in
She
like
has a
episode
name,
like
but
2.
I didn't write down her name or I didn't find it. I was
And
trying to
honestly,
find
we
it.
don't really care enough to look it up.
She's the Shell Town girl, as far as I know.
Shells with an S. 2
That's
S's.
just how much I. She's a sweetheart, but she's just
And
unimportant.
they basically go, well, we didn't get kicked out, but we just have to work without pay for 50 years.
I think that they rescind that after a while.
I would like to think they don't, because they expect them to go up and maybe because they don't expect them to go up in rungs.
Because they think they're pretty useless.
Yeah.
I think that after a certain point they did rescind it after they both proved their merit.
But
so for right now they have
as punishment they're basically told to accompany the current lieutenant, the current captain for that island, as they transfer a particular prisoner to a vice admiral who
with 1.5 hands.
Yeah. So Helmeppo awkwardly is like, "Oh, my dad's on board."
And like, it's actually a touching scene because when they're like cleaning cannonballs in the cannons, like Helmeppo was actively breaking down. Like, yeah, my dad probably deserves what's coming to him, but he's still my dad, and I'm like, darn it, you're making me feel for this complete tool. Like,
what I have to say to
way.
Helmeppo, respect through fear is not really earned.
Yeah.
It's why you never felt like you actually contributed anything. Mostly because you did not actually do much to gain the respect of the soldiers that you use like servants.
He didn't even earn their fear. They didn't fear Helmeppo, and I think he
No, but they feared retribution from his dad.
Which is not the same thing.
And if he were to go back to the short, peaceful life, he brings this up later, he needs to basically get to exactly where his dad was, and then go back to the comfortable life. And until he does that, he will have to work hard for it.
Yeah, he's gonna have to work for that respect.
So, the next day they basically meet up with Vice Admiral Garp.
Or Dogman.
Yeah, he has a very clear dog motif in which his ship, his hat, like everything about him screams dog. He is accompanied by what appears to be an FBI agent.
I wonder what could possibly cause him to want to hide his face. I'm sure he contains no secrets whatsoever. He's a man of strict integrity.
If I remember correctly, his
they
story
call him the
is
hero of the sea, is what they call him.
Yeah. Who, the FBI agent?
No, Garp.
Oh. But the FBI agent actually has like a little bit of a backstory where it's like he was saddled with Garp when Garp became a vice admiral, and he's from the West. He's from the West Blue.
They picked the right person.
So he has more of a fencing type sword style.
Also, we hear that Vice Admiral Garp has been up for 5 days trying to defeat his previous donut eating record. I like this character already. He's got the right head on his shoulders. And the scene goes, it's like, so sorry, I'm so tired. I've just been up for 5 days. And the soldier goes, oh, sir, thank you for your dedication. And Garp goes, no, I was trying to beat my donut eating record. And you see, like, the soldier's face, like, I don't know what to say to that. It's all on his face.
Fortunately, he won't need to think of a thing to say because Morgan cuts himself free And he takes Helmeppo as his
And he slashes Garp like right across the chest and
as
Garp
his
falls
yeah.
down.
Yeah, he takes Helmeppo as prisoner, and basically sails off with him in tow. And Coby valiantly jumps in front of a cannon, basically going, "No, please don't shoot him.
He's my friend.
I will try to get him," as he jumps into the water.
He's got guts, I'll tell you that much. And I think everybody kind of realized was that this kid might actually go somewhere.
There's been something very funny this entire time during the episode. I was watching this with CB over at his place, and we kept making jokes that every single time Helmeppo tried to be serious, there was like dark shadows over his face, and so we just referred to him as All Meppo the entire time.
You broke me. You broke it.
Do not wobble, bird. No. So meanwhile, Morgan is basically using his son as a footstool to make him actually look like Captain Morgan.
He's just one of the worst dads in One Piece. He doesn't have the highest perch, but he's like 5th down on that rung
so
right now.
Coby makes it to the ship. Oh, I forgot to mention something.
Yeah.
The FBI agent was going to shoot the cannon anyway, but then Garp wakes up and he just smashes
like,
the...
what's that noise? And he's just like, as if that was his alarm clock he had to break. It was that
and then they're like, "Sir," I was like, "Sir, are you okay?" He was like, "Yeah, did someone get hurt?" "Oh yeah, it's me."
And everyone's like, oh.
Meanwhile, Captain Morgan basically throws Coby and Helmeppo off of the boat.
After they valiantly try to take him on, and they're just like outclassed.
Nah, now I'm bored, and he basically just throws them off of the...
His hostages out, which they should have shot him right then.
But Helmeppo basically yells out at his dad, "I will surpass you one day," which, basically means...
Helmeppo's got a dream. He's got a dream, and he's really not as scary as he seems.
I'm gonna give each episode 1 point into the Dreams Are Important Guys card, so 8 in total. But so next episode starts with next episode starts with Nami getting visibly upset at Luffy for breaking the water pump
with his freakish strength of his.
I just wanted to make it go faster.
This is now the second thing on this ship that Luffy has broken, because he did not break the joystick. That was not him. That was Sanji and that was Usopp.
No, that's Zoro.
Oh, Zoro? Oh, okay. It was Usopp and someone else who broke the joystick. But it's now the mast and the water drawing bucket have now been destroyed by Luffy. I vote for the anchor next. What do you think he's gonna break?
So the Albatross newspaper shows up, and Nami's looking through it, and Luffy basically looks over her shoulder and goes, "Hey, look at it!" As she points to a picture of Helmeppo and
Coby shaking in fear at Morgan.
No, it's actually after they had crossed the Grand Line.
Oh, like crossed into the Grand Line from Reverse Mountain?
Yeah.
Or from the Calm Belt? Which direction do you think they went?
No, it said over Reverse Mountain.
Oh, they went over Reverse Mountain? How very nice of them to be like everybody else and come a sensible way.
So, it's like, okay, so what are they doing? They are currently at a military training camp, which
at Marine HQ.
Like, I can't remember if they actively say which Marine headquarters is, but if it is Marineford, it would make a lot of sense.
It would, especially since they went with Garp, who's the Vice Admiral, who probably took them right to the actual Marine HQ.
One of probably like 10 Vice Admirals.
Does each one have two?
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, white. 8.
Okay.
Garp
I'm
is
brown,
white.
don't forget
Oh yeah, there's also brown, so I guess that's 9.
somewhere in there. Like, we'll get the exact
They're
number.
all color-coded.
The exact
It's
number.
really stupid.
Like, everyone's color-coded.
Either way,
like, once
it shows
once
what they
get
have
high
to do
enough,
because...
you get to pick your color from the color wheel, or just throw a dart. I think that some of them just throw a dart, and whichever one they get, they land on. And like, some of them were X'd out with pictures. Okay, you hit that one, so you can fight that guy for his color now.
So, they basically go over what the normal military training is for a soldier who is working in the Grand Line, which is
2,000 push-ups.
Roughly around the same you would have to do in the actual military.
Which, pretty neat. It's not actual Marine standards for our country, but, you know, it's pretty beastin'. Like, they whipped them into shape, pretty much.
And basically, there's a moment where...
And Garp subscribes to the school of tough love and hard knocks.
So basically, they set Coby and Helmeppo to do exactly what they were doing before, and, cleaning the barracks. But this time, Coby is like, we're that much closer to actually being something in the military. So, all we have to do is basically keep up this routine, and that should be good. And Helmeppo's like, that's stupid. And I go, no, having a diligent routine builds character. It honestly doesn't matter what it is. As long as you can keep to a routine over and over again, you're doing something productive.
And, let's see, where was I?
They refer to Garp as an eccentric, which, kind of is, but he also kind of isn't. He likes birds, though, which I am a fan of.
He like beats them in the palm of his hand, and they like go up.
There's a great moment where Helmeppo's like, "Shut up, you stupid birds!" And they look over, and Garp is basically just being the birds, and he just slowly turns over to them.
And the try-hard montage begins.
Yeah,
they're try-harding all over the place.
Yeah, so they decide, hey, if we can't do proper military training during the day because we have to work, then we'll just do it at night and get no sleep.
And then Coby, I think when he's tired, utters the name of a wanted pirate right in front of Garp.
Yeah, so he's like,
Could have been anybody
but
else
Luffy's my friend, and I can't disappoint him.
And Helmeppo
like,
says,
you can't do that. And then Garp is like, are you sure about that?
It's like, tell me more!
So, there's
Garp
a moment where...
subscribe on to the Church of Luffy, too.
So, Garp, it basically pulls them to a secluded beach, in which he says, are you going to claim that you are friends with a wanted criminal? And Coby says, just because I am does not mean I'm not willing to be a soldier. And Helmeppo goes, well, since we're friends, I guess I've got to also participate. So they both rip their shorts off and they get into a battle position.
I forgot they did that.
There was a battle, and then they got crushed. Because, Garp is a man who...
He might be 70 years old. He's like 60 years old.
There's a reason why his title is called The Fist.
Because he beats men down twice his size with his fist.
And then he basically goes, you got a lot of characters sticking up to me and saying what you believe in.
I won't fire you then.
I won't fire you. Instead, I will fast-track you by doing personal training, both me and this FBI agent.
Hello.
To fight. And I was like, yeah, okay.
It'll be grueling.
I want to say that not much happened, but this was pretty good character growth for a character we haven't seen in like a year. Mm-hmm. In manga publication, at least.
In our time, it's been 5 months.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 6 months, and it's like...
Yeah, we're
on
our 6-month anniversary. Almost. Like, I don't know the exact day we started.
Because it's not only when we started recording the videos, but it's also when we started taking notes about the sort of thing.
So I don't know if you guys can see this on the back, but this is my first notebook for this. It's almost full.
Yeah.
This will end in Alabasta. This won't get into Skypea.
Episode 70 basically starts with Vivi basically saying, okay, so it's not going to be as chaotic as you remember.
We forgot. Nami saw something in the papers that has her concerned. But we don't know what it is yet, and it's been so long that I don't remember what's in the papers. I think you do, but don't tell me, because I actually want there to be some air of mystery in knowing how this whole series wraps up.
She does kind of hide the newspaper, though.
Uh-huh.
Past a very beautiful sleeping bird. He sleeps so beautifully.
It's okay, Sean. You will find a new love. Karu will go on.
Karu will be back for Avengers Part 2. So Vivi basically describes the weather as, at the beginning of the Grand Line, as so chaotic, mostly because all of the islands that are so close to each other at the very beginning
have one of the 7 magnetic fields connected to Reverse Mountain.
Yeah, and so
that's why they're all so chaotic.
All of these like squalls and stuff are hitting each other, and so it's creating a very bad situation. So essentially, it's a really hard start that knocks people away very quickly. But once you actually get through the Grand Line, it's like pushing a boulder. Once you start getting momentum, you can reliably get through it. So basically, everyone's kind of relaxing onto the ship.
They get Karu drunk.
Sanji is just basically feeding him like small drinks as Vivi is basically just watching on as she looks over to Nami going, seeing everyone so happy makes me feel like I'm worked up over nothing. Well, you're not worked up over nothing because, you still have an island that is about to die to tyranny. So, that's something that we worry about.
But she also says something that I think everybody who steps foot onto Luffy's ship, the Mary kind of figures out about the Straw Hat crew. They're not such bad guys, after all, for being a bunch of pirates who are supposed to be bloodthirsty mercenaries. They're not that bad.
Even when you really get down to it, Shanks is also that really bloodthirsty, but he at least has a good spirit about him.
Like, we're still, in the manga, learning new stuff about him just recently. Like, a big bombshell was dropped about him very recently.
I still need to get caught up. I haven't watched the last few ones. And then a dolphin shows up. And then the dolphin jumps over the ship, and it turns out that it's like
the size of
a megalodon. So
what?
We also get a little look at who the villain for this mini arc is going to be. It's Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week.
Who were on a resort island.
I love Mr. 3 because he's like, you shouldn't say my codename out loud. How will anyone find out that I am Mr. 3? As it looks up, his hair is like designed to like a 3. So it's like, maybe it would be a lot more advantageous to your crew if you didn't have your number plastered all over you.
Like, the only way he could have been more overt is if he tattooed right on his face, I am Mr. 3, on his face.
One of the days in Golden Week is called
Children's Day.
Children's Day.
I know that because of Pokemon Shuffle.
And it's why Miss Golden Week looks younger than the other ones. Which, I actually like her powers. I looked them back up after she came back up, and I'm like, that's what her power is. Cool.
I think I remember what her power is, but don't tell me so I can enjoy it.
They use...
Because I know how this whole show goes. Like,
they use the wave that the dolphin makes to basically launch the ship closer to...
Little
Garden, which has... it's sort of like dead air around it. for some reason, so it's like, okay, so we're probably going to need some way to get back, but this is good enough. And as they're over there, they start realizing that the animals are a lot bigger than normal.
And they're a lot older than normal.
So
And
I had to
Nami-
look up this name. Zoro is standing there as an Archaeopteryx flies past him, and he goes, "What is that bird?" And I'm like, "That is technically a bird."
I mean, technically the T-Rex is also a bird, but let's not split
No,
hairs
the
here.
T-Rex is a chicken. Doesn't count.
Racist.
No, a chicken
Birdish?
does count as bird, but him being related to it, it's like saying, "Oh yeah, he's my family." Yeah, but he's related to by three marriages and an estranged marriage. So technically, they're related to you.
And it's also a political reference at the same time.
Yeah.
But, so
it takes 7 minutes for them to get off the ship and actually adventure the island. I took no notes during that time.
Well, and then after, because they're just talking, and Luffy tasks Sanji with finding him something to eat. That's what they talk about in the 7 minutes. That Luffy is going out on an adventure, and Vivi and Karu are going with them, and he tasks Sanji to find him food. And then Sanji and Zoro start the contest that begins their rivalry for the rest of the show.
So they basically go, we will capture food, and the one that brings more weight of pure meat will be the winner.
Which Luffy will gladly eat them both, and he won't care.
Meanwhile, Luffy and Vivi are finding really cool ammonites just floating in the river.
And Nami is like scratching her head, like, I've heard something about this island in my studies, and so she runs back to her
cabin, and she starts ripping the books off the wall, trying to find it.
She's trying to find the book. Like, it's like that moment when you're like, you've got something, you've got information on like the back of your tongue, like right there, and you're like, I got it. Like, and she's just like ripping out books, and she's passing them to Usopp, who's like holding them as the ground starts to shake. And Sanji and Zoro.
No, you forgot about something. Sanji gets attacked by a T-Rex, and Zoro gets attacked.
T-Rex.
Yeah, and Zoro gets attacked by a Triceratops. And it's like, oh,
that was okay. Water bottle.
Oh. But here's something funny that CB made a note of when we were watching the episodes. In Japanese, they refer to dinosaurs as yesterday dragons. That is how you translate their name. They're
as if you couldn't
dragons.
Make dinosaurs any cooler than they already were. You call them dragons on top of it, which there might have been a dragon back in prehistoric times. Supernatural dragons.
And basically, this massive giant that basically comes up and looms over the ship as Nami is trying to tell Usopp about the island. And that's basically where we're ending.
Because she looks pretty worried. Like, she just figured out why Miss All Sunday was telling them not to come to this island.
But for other reasons than that as well.
Uh-huh.
But
because there's absolutely a reason you don't want to get stuck on Tunnel Garden besides the giant T-Rex and the Triceratops that Zoro fights, which they have no problem with those two.
In summary, these were pretty good episodes. Even the filler was pretty good. So I've got to give it a gold.
I gave them all silvers. Like, most of them were high silvers.
I gave more golds than silvers in the episode, so I give it a gold.
I agree with that. But I will hold that they are silvers. Like the first episode of this bunch and the episode with Miss, like, the first episode and Miss All Sunday's episode are good, mostly in context.
Like, you know what? I'm also going to agree with you. They're incredibly high silver, and I will give them that instead of gold.
Like, in context, we will look back and these will be gold. But for right now, with the information we have about Miss All Sunday, about Vivi, about Little Garden, and the characters we will meet on Little Garden, they're suffers.
I will say, though, that these episodes do give the audience a lot to chew on. During the filler arc, it basically gives you a few things to think about as they're traveling. Because it's like, who is this crocodile? Why is he so terrifying that they don't even want to, like, say who he is? Like what is Miss All Sunday's power?
Like,
who is the other members of Baroque Works that they're going to encounter? Like, all those type of things.
Like, because this is something I would have thought if I had never seen All Sunday before my life. Is it a devil fruit, or is it just parlor tricks? And that's why she's Miss All Sunday. Because she's so good, you can't tell. And in a world of devil fruits and mere magic-like abilities, what's the difference?
A little bit.
Like, there is a taxonomy difference. Like, if you ate a devil fruit, you ate a devil fruit. But if I was going off of information I would not have, if this was my first episode, I would have thought she was faking it. Because why would, and she might have a devil fruit, but it might not be the devil fruit that we think it is.
Either way, that's basically all I had to talk about. There isn't that much left to mention. I'll have more to mention next week, though.
We'll have substantially more to mention. As we go into a little...
You spelled Karu wrong, by the way.
That was how it was spelled in the subtitle.
I know. It's spelled with a C.
And Coby is spelled with a K, but that's also wrong.
Then again, we're talking about the Englishization of the name. Romanization. Whatever. Anyway, we're probably gonna...
And this...
We have to,
Yeah,
it's the 4th of July, so we have to do other stuff today, so...
We don't want to prolong this and have more fireworks go off. We've been extraordinarily lucky that the noise has been down today.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say, see you later, everyone.
Bye. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy some nice food. Enjoy
Enjoy the holiday that happened last week. By the time you see this.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it.
Either way, we were gonna take the next week off, but I found a way to actually make it so that I can do it. So
I'll watch the episodes either way, just in case.
Yeah. So anyway, bye guys.
Bye.